Last week, we tackled the stuff you hate: emails, admin, scheduling. This week, we're making you look brilliant. We've got some AI tricks that'll make people wonder how you got so sharp. But we're going to go job specific today. Like, for instance, how does a real estate agent use AI? A marketer, someone in sales. But here's the twist: whatever you do for a living, you're going to find something here. And we've got a personal magic trick that every parent or anyone who's ever felt dumb about a topic is going to love. Let's make you dangerous. I'm Joe Downs. With me is Peter Swain. We're just a couple of successful idiots. Peter's the one with the accent. I'm the one who finally realized not bad is the highest British compliment you can get. Our job is simple here: to show you how to think about AI and how to use some AI tools to put more horsepower behind your small business hustle, or help you start one. Peter, let's jump inside the hustle lab. And the job I want to cover first is the real estate agent. For starters, Peter, there's a ton of them out there. And even if you aren't one, everyone generally knows what a real estate agent does. So I think it's kind of a common denominator of jobs that everyone can understand. So I think it's a perfect example. Peter, set this up for me.
Well, before we do, I just want to say the episode we did last week, not bad.
I know what that means.
Yeah. So, real estate agent. So if you do a little bit of research, aka you go into ChatGPT or any of the other tools, and you ask, what is the differentiator between a successful and an unsuccessful real estate agent? It turns out it's local market knowledge. Okay, that's the difference between a successful realtor and not. And the reason is everybody's got the numbers. Oh, I did $100 million last year, or I closed 3 in the last. It's very easy to present the prestige around the numbers that you've done. So here's a little hack. Is it a magic trick or this is a hack? It's both.
It's parlor trick, remember?
It's a parlor trick.
Yeah,
so here's
British.
the British parlor trick for a realtor. Go into ChatGPT and say, I'm showing XYZ couple around ABC property next week. Give me 3 feel-good stories from the local news in the last 5 days, and give me, ready, wait for it, give me 5 free events that I can attend in my local area in the next week.
Why do you want that? Where's this going?
Well, the first one means you can walk into the property and go, did you hear the story about that kid from Thingy High School? Like, no. Like, oh, he did really well. He won the science competition and he's now off to Washington. I just thought it was really cool.
So a story to establish the local high school, township, whatever it is.
See how locally embedded I am in my community? I know what's going on at each of the high schools.
All right.
This is the realtor you want. They're the person that can point you in the right direction for the right school. But then the other thing a realtor needs is listings. Now, most realtors, when they start their journey, rely on referrals, rely on a word of mouth. But what you actually need to do is start networking at the Rotary, at the Chamber of Commerce, at the thing. So ChatGPT can go and pull from sources like Eventbrite and all those wonderful things and tell you what events you should go to where your ideal customer is actually going to be.
Interesting. Okay.
Now you want to take it even further. Do you want a bonus on that?
Yes, I was about to say, what do you do from there?
So if you know what the couple that are going to come and look at the property are, like how old they are, where they're moving from, what jobs they do, which is very standard discovery type questions, then why not get ChatGPT to give you the counter to the objections they're going to have in advance?
Okay. Like what?
Okay. Well, let's say that the husband, I'm going to be horribly, I'm going to be horribly unmisogynistic. Let's say that we have a couple coming and it's the woman, the wife works for a big tech company. I'm willing to bet money in advance that she's going to ask about the Wi-Fi and the speeds of the internet connection
in the local area.
I'll bet thousands of dollars that she asked that question.
Okay.
Because anybody that works in the tech industry is not going to move somewhere if they don't have decent access. So why not have that ready? Why not have the ability to, as you're walking them around the property, why not have the ability to just say in advance?
Just dropping a nugget?
Yeah, it's crazy that, 3 actually brought 5G to this neighborhood 3 months ago, and internet speeds have gone up from 300 megasecond to 3 gigasecond. I don't know if that's something you'd be interested in. And the wife goes, well, actually, I'm in the tech industry. I know. Wow, cool, amazing.
I'm going to one-up you. You ready?
Go for it.
What if you also, so you know who your client is, you know where they're moving from. What if you ask ChatGPT to do a market research study with maybe key points like Wi-Fi, internet speeds, whatever, schools, whatever, from the neighborhood they left?
Mm-hmm.
Although...
Now you're seeing it. You're seeing it. It's that.
Well, yeah, but now I'm catching myself going, what if they didn't like the neighborhood they left? Assuming they like the neighborhood they left, let's say they're moving from out of state, right? They might, if they're moving from, in my case, West Philadelphia to the main line, maybe they're moving for different reasons. But if they're moving from state to state Yeah, I think I was onto something there. You know, if they really liked where they came from, maybe you find that information out. You know, where is that same local
Or,
market replicated?
or what about this? What about if you were to ask ChatGPT, because this is something people miss. I'm loving this episode, by the way. This is fun. What if you were to say, I want you to pull the data on XYZ data points of where they were and where they're moving, potentially moving to, and I want you to frame it as both positive and negative. I want you to give me both sets of arguments in advance. I want you to give me the ability to say, yeah, this is super cool because da. And I also want you to give me the opposite if they walk in on the opposite, if they don't want to move, but they have to move.
Okay.
Give them both.
All right. So you raised me.
Are they 20 or are they 50? Because if they're 20, their chances are they've either got a young child, a very young child, or they're considering moving to have children. In which case, pulling school data is now quite interesting. If they're 50, pulling school data probably not so interesting.
All right. I'm going to see you and raise you one.
Ooh, that's good.
We're going back and forth here. What if we then take their personal profile, which you just led to, or they're roughly their age, maybe we know it exactly. Do they have kids, not have kids? And ask ChatGPT what the most common things that someone with that profile would want or look for in a house or a neighborhood, and what are the questions that I should ask them beforehand?
Yep, you're
Right.
exactly there. This works. Now, if you think about this now we wanted to talk about any industry, so I'm going to give you another example. I once worked with I don't even know what the job title is. This person did interior design for restaurants. They designed restaurants. And they went, well, how could ChatGPT help me? Right, great, easy. And what we did is we went through the ideal customer, who is the person that this restaurant is looking to approach. And then I said to ChatGPT, give me 5 to 10 things that you think this customer is going to care about that an interior design, whatever the job title was, might miss. And she went, I've been doing this for 30 years. Right, okay, well, this thing has consumed all the knowledge that was ever read and ever said. So I see your 20 years and I raise you the entire knowledge of the entire world. So, great, good for you, but let's see what it can do. And it came back and we then uploaded the blueprint and we uploaded pictures, and it came back and said there isn't enough space for the high chairs. And she went, but what?
Yeah.
And I went, well, your ideal customer is parents and families, right? So yeah, I'm like, you've done 4-person booths. With the high chair would have to go on the outside in the aisle, which means that the servers are going to be like with hot food walking next to my child. Her response was, shit.
Yep.
So this is
Even
what,
if it clipped on, so we both know we're parents.
yeah, you don't want, you're going to be sitting there nervous for the entire meal.
Yep.
If your child is in the aisle of the walkway of hot food. So even if it's fine, you're going to be nervous, which means if you're nervous, you aren't going to spend as much money as you would otherwise. So it's things like that of looking at, here's the customer, or in the case of the realtor, here's the potential customer, and then reverse engineering back out into what you need. And it really isn't hard. It's like, here's Jim and Sarah are coming and looking at this condo at this zip code with this many bedrooms on this day. This is Jim's LinkedIn profile. This is Sarah's LinkedIn profile. They're moving, I believe, because they've been offered a job. From what I can tell, they've got 2 children. What are the 5 to 10 things that I should highlight? And what are the 5 to 10 objections that they're going to have?
So this is fantastic, but this is the execution of the job, right? What about when we have a client? What about, and this we can meld these two together, because I wanted to get into as well, like how this is applicable if you're marketing, but we can actually blend these together, because the question I was gonna wrap up with real estate agent, but it's perfect just to marry the two together, is how do I find clients if I'm a real estate agent? Or, basically how does AI impact the marketing aspect of my business as a real estate agent? And we could talk about that at the same time, if, whether you're just in marketing.
So once you have the ideal customer written up, like this is the person I'm talking to, you can then take the website copy that you've written and ask your ideal customer to read the website copy. You can say, hey, ChatGPT, I want you to adopt the persona of my ideal customer. And I want you to read this webpage. And I want you to tell me whether they would buy or they wouldn't buy. What have I done right? What have I done wrong? Have I answered their objections or haven't I answered their objections? What am I missing that I need to change? What is your prediction of the success of this ad, this copy, this email, this webpage, this insert blank everything here?
So I'm taking a piece of content I created and asking it to review it based on my ideal client. Is that what I
Or
heard?
asking it to write it from the perspective of that client in the first
Or
place.
write it. Okay, maybe I missed that part. All right.
Well, no, it's both. It's like if
It's both.
you're,
Okay.
I'm trying to get wherever you're at in the journey. If you've already got a bunch of stuff, get the AI to read the stuff. If you don't have the stuff, get the AI to write the stuff in the first place.
Okay. And then once it's written or recorded, if it's a video, what can I do with it from there?
You can certainly ask. Well, the biggest answer to all of these is you can just ask AI.
All right, true, but what does that mean? So, that
Hey,
as
I'm running.
simple as that sounds, Peter, it's daunting in and of itself because I don't know if there's like an element of I feel stupid just asking AI, or I don't know how to ask it or what to ask it or why to ask it.
We're gonna go down a little rabbit hole for a second.
Okay.
You're gonna have to get used to feeling stupid talking to AI.
Well, I get used to feeling stupid all the time. So
Yeah,
it's easy.
likewise. But Google Gemini is currently the smartest AI on the planet in terms of raw IQ.
Google Gemini is.
Yeah, as of today, Google Gemini,
Okay.
and its IQ has been measured at 131.
Oh, it's right there with me.
And the average is 100. So therefore, the average person is going to feel dumb talking to AI because AI is smarter than they are. We're on an exponential curve. So the next version is going to be 140. The next version will be 160. The next, very, very quickly, the estimate is about 18 months from now, AI will be smarter than anyone that's ever lived, full stop. So we're all going to have to get really comfortable with this concept of I'm not the smart one in the room because the AI is the smart one in the room. I liken this, and it's not necessarily something I have to work on. Imagine if you were the manager of the Beatles. Like, you ain't the Beatles. You can't sing, you can't play the drums, you can't play the guitar, and no one cares about who you're married and who you're sleeping with. You're still clipping 15%. So you're doing very, very well. So it's the same thing here. You're essentially the manager of the band versus being the front man of the band. That's the change that's going to happen for everybody over the next couple of years.
So we're idiots. We're going to further become, the delta is going to get wider.
Yep.
And we're going to continue to maintain our idiot status.
But I'm guessing loads of smart people like I do that are nowhere near as smart as the people they hire, and yet they're wealthier than the people they hire.
True.
Because they understand how to get the best out of people, and they're okay with their ego not needing to be the smartest person in the room if they're the most successful person or they're achieving their goals. And that's what I see in AI. You're not the smartest anymore, but you are the conductor, you are the manager of the band, and you're going to clean up if you choose to as a result.
I love it. In your mastermind recently, you covered how to take a piece of content that you created and multiply it like gremlins after midnight that I forget what you pour water on them or you feed them after midnight. I forget what it is. It's been a long time, but
it was water after midnight, wasn't it?
Was it water or feed them after midnight?
Wet. Anyway, yeah.
It was something like that.
Mogwai.
How do we do that with our marketing?
You literally
with our
exactly that. Once you've got the core IP, so the big thing, right? So you've got the presentation or the knowledge or the book or the whatever the big version is, you can easily say, turn this into a LinkedIn post, turn this into 9 Twitter X posts. Apparently that's what we're calling it, Twitter X. Instagram carousels, 3 blog posts, and a website. Go. And it will reposition and repurpose that content for each thing.
Okay. If you are, and basically, but if you are a consultant, and you are a consultant, you're just an AI consultant, but for, you're just run-of-the-mill consultant. I don't know how to say it any other way.
You're a consultant. I think we can just leave it there.
What tool is there any one AI tool you would use, and if so, how would you use it? I don't know if you want to. Probably easier if you just pick an industry or pick a type of consultant.
Well, let me tell you a story because it'll be quite fun. I once built a very successful booking engine for hotels. So we did, by the end of year 5, we were doing 400 million revenue a year through this booking engine. So I think that qualifies as successful. 400 million revenue in 5 years.
How much was it?
400 million.
Yeah, it's all right.
In 5 years. It's all right. It's not huge, but it's certainly not small. But I remember the first meeting where they were talking about whether we should optimize for RevPAR or RevPAG. And I was like, that's an interesting question.
What's the PAG?
Now, here's what happened. I went, do you mind if I just use the restroom? And they're like, yeah, sure. And I'm sitting on Google going, what the fuck is RevPAR and what the fuck is RevPAG?
RevPAR, I know. I don't know RevPAG.
Revenue per active room or revenue per active guest?
Guest, okay.
And I was like, okay, now I understand what this is. So now I understand these two words. So I then walked back in the room and went, yeah, I agree that we should optimize for RevPAR, but I think Miller made some really interesting points on optimizing for RevPAG, in his study last year. What do you guys think of that? And they're like, well, it was completely wrong because of da-da-da versus active versus in-service rooms. I'm like, yeah, no, that's what I thought as well. I'm like, okay. And I'm writing down this list throughout this meeting of these terms that I have no idea what they mean. And then go back and say, I'm really sorry, I need the restroom again because my stomach's feeling pretty bad because I traveled and must be the water. So I'm leaving this room every 10 minutes to get this glossary built of what does this industry mean.
Now, I messed up because I picked up on something you said. You said you Googled it.
Yeah, this is 10 years ago.
10 years ago, right, okay.
Here's what I would do now. What I do now is say, I'm about to meet with the revenue manager for a 400 hotel chain in Canada. I know nothing about this topic. I need to look like a resident expert on everything around the subject of revenue. I need 3 talking points that are from recent news or recent articles. I need 5 headline statistics that I can remember that I can use at any point during the conversation. I need 2 books that are the seminal reading matter for this industry. And I need a glossary that I can remember before I go in. Go. Now, you think this is quite amusing, but you have been the recipient of this because you and I have a business interest that we share, and it has a very specialized glossary to it. So I did exactly this. I took the first transcript of our first 2 calls when, if you remember, I was sounding like a bit of an idiot because I didn't really know what I was talking about. And I put them into...
You did very well, actually.
Thank you.
I would say.
But I put them into various AI tools, and I asked it to produce me a 7-day course. I'm like, I need to understand this subject as well as they understand this subject by my next call. Explain to me how this works. Tell me what Harvard would tell me. Tell me what Stanford would tell me. Tell me what the guy on the street would tell me. Explain every phrase, everything, go. Give me YouTube videos to go and watch. And I produced myself a 5-day, 20-minute-a-day course so I could not look like an idiot.
Can I put you on the hot seat for a second and be selfish?
Yeah.
Because I told you that's what I want to do with this show. You're the actual idiot. I'm successful because you agreed to do this podcast with me so that I could become more successful. I'm kidding. You're obviously a genius. I've got boat and RV facilities that are, one of them's off the beaten path, and one of them's not. One of them's right on a highway. I'm struggling to get customers in. What can I do? I put you on the hot seat here, but what are some ideas that instantly come to your head? Give me
a 2-line description of what the business does.
So we're self-storage, but specializing in boats and RVs. And it's in Blairsville, Georgia, which is a very outdoorsy area. So it's a dream of an area for hunters, fishers, hikers, kayaking, boating, fishing. And if I didn't say that, whatever, just the whole area is an outdoorsman's dream. Some of our customers live about 2 hours away and store locally. We call it destination storage. Others are local, but can't store in their HOA, or if they have one, or don't want to store at home or whatever. Every other facility around us is like 95% occupied or more, which is gold standard for self-storage. We're struggling. We're at 65, 70%. Can't make any traction.
Okay. So, I mean, the first thing I would do is just have exactly this conversation. 2 hours away, destination storage, HOA, outdoor, Georgia, they're at 95, we're at 65. I'm obviously missing something. Ask me every and any question you need until I say, I've got it. Because the answer to this question is probably in your head, not in AI's head. You just don't know it.
I don't know how to get it out. Yeah.
I know that because you started self-hugging as you did this, which is...
I thought this was a podcast.
It's your language of frustration. It's a very human thing to do this when things aren't going well or you're going to defend yourself because you know the answer. The reason you're frustrated, if it wasn't your area of expertise, you wouldn't expect you to know the answer, so you'd be okay that you didn't know the answer and you'd employ somebody that does know the answer, so you'd already know the answer. But because it is your area of expertise and you can't come up with the answer, you're really frustrated because you should know the answer because it's your industry. So it's in there somewhere. So I think if you ask AI to be the thought partner and go, come on, help me out with this, ask me questions, I think within 30 minutes you're going to go, I've got it. That's what we're doing wrong. That's the problem there. Now, so that's my first answer. My second answer is to say, if it wasn't for that last piece of information, the 95 versus the 65, I'd be looking at here's my ideal customer, how do I reform my promotion strategy, how do I look at my revenue strategy, my pricing strategy, what partnerships could I pull up in the local neighborhood that could help me get this done? It would be things like that. And a question from me, have you gone and purchased from your competition?
So that would be rented a unit or a space in this case? No.
I would suggest that you go and partake as a customer, because I think if you partake as a customer, you might go, I know
What are they doing that we're not doing? Interesting.
Like, it might be something like, if I was destination storage, I would be telling people that they only pay for 9 months of 12 or something, because there's going to be months when they do want to use it, months when they don't want to use it. It might be something like that they've got this just like a revenue hack in there. But I would go and be a customer. But if you ask AI, what am I seeing? What am I missing? What am I doing wrong? It'll give you the answers.
All right. It's not just an AI podcast, little marketing tidbits here too. All right. I appreciate it.
You know where to send the check.
Don't I already write them? All right. Well, not for that business, I guess. Okay. We one last topic I want to get to that every parent out there is going to love, because we've all shared this frustration, and I think I know enough about your kids to know you actually have not had this frustration yet, because they have not reached a certain age like mine have. I have a 17-year-old, a 16-year-old. I can no longer help the 17-year-old and the 16-year-old with their math problems. And I was pretty good at math, right? Yeah. The 13-year-old, I'm good. I still got it. He still thinks I know what I'm talking about. How can, whatever the subject, but math is like the lowest of low-hanging fruit when it comes to helping your kids with homework and being frustrated, and as a parent and feeling defeated when they start to get to, in the States, sophomore year of high school, maybe junior year, depending on your aptitude. You know, like, for instance, I'm good through Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Trig, I'm done. It's over. I don't remember. And anything beyond that, calculus, forget it. Might as well be Chinese.
I would do what I said earlier, and I would write your own mini course. I would be, hey, this semester, my son, my daughter is dealing with this. I need to be there to support. This is the textbook that she's working from. Help. Give me everything I need to know to stay one step above her.
Interesting. So,
and also remember the taking a picture.
But the picture's a good one. To picture the problem. My kids are actually already using it when they can't, when they get stuck. I think because I was probably like, hey, listen, I don't know. Just ask ChatGPT to help you.
Yeah, but if you teach them that they can take pictures of the homework, because the reason I say that is what we don't want to do is advocate for our kids to abdicate responsibility. We don't want to say just hand your life over to ChatGPT, which unfortunately a lot of kids are doing. So we still want them to do the pen and paper work first.
Mm-hmm.
And then take a picture of it and then have a conversation with ChatGPT. Do I have this right? Have I got it right? What have I missed? How have I got this wrong? So it's still forcing them to actually do the initial work and then using ChatGPT to come over the top and help, instead of abdicating the whole thing to ChatGPT in the first place.
Are you going to be proud of me again? Because
constantly.
That's what I did with my son the other night. He said, Dad, can you help me with this? I said, nope, but here's what we can do. And I took his computer, and he's already downloaded Willow on his Mac. So I hit the buttons and I just started talking. I said, I'm here with my son. I probably didn't need to say that, but it gives me context. Here is the issue at hand. It was like determinant something. I don't remember what it was. Can you please walk us through how to solve these problems? Give us some examples. Have him go through practicing those problems. Tell him what he did right. Tell him what he did wrong before he actually gets to the problem, which is the homework problem on the piece of paper in front of him. So I didn't even give it the homework problem. I had it create problems that were like the homework problem that he could practice on and go through. And it was incredible. And I asked him the next morning, I said, how did that, because he went and did his thing. I said, how did that work last night? I said, do you understand it now? And he said, yeah, it was really helpful. And, it was amazing. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Nice. The other nice little addition on that, and explain it in the style of Yoda or Eminem or whatever you want.
There is no try, only do. Real quick, I wasn't going to bring this up. And if you can punt to another episode if you're not up to speed on it. But I also showed him, not that I know how to use it yet, but I was playing with Notebook LM, Google Notebook LM.
Phenomenal tool.
Can you give us 60 seconds on it?
Yeah, Notebook LM is essentially a repurposing tool. So it's actually just doing magic tricks you can already do with AI. So I don't tend to use it very much. But for example, you can put in a book and it can produce a podcast from it, or you can put in a book and can produce a learning guide. So I call it, it's a repurposer. It's very good at taking something in and pushing something else out the other side.
What I liked about it because I went to my same son, I said, he was studying for a test, and I said, where are all your notes? And they were digital. I said, let me show you this trick. Put it into Notebook LM, and not only can it create a podcast for you, it can create a slideshow and a video. It can create flashcards and a quiz. And my takeaway was, and you can comment on it, was it's taking all the information he's got to learn anyway and repackaging it in different forms of consumption.
100%.
So that he's learning visually, he's learning audibly. He's got the flashcards, which, we've had flashcards forever, but that was just a quick little hack that you don't have to make. It's right there. And then the quiz. And I was like, wow, I think every school needs to adopt this. This is incredible. What a way to teach.
Yeah, I 100% agree. For my daughter last year, I designed a prompt that made a choose your own adventure game to explain in England, because she didn't want to learn about it. But when I said, hey, there's this new thing, it's choose your own adventure game, it will say something and then you choose whether you want to do this or do this, she played it for hours. And then at the end, she came back and said, did you know Queen Victoria? I'm like, no, really?
So it's your own little Harry Potter
we created a game for her to play, which
very amazing.
It's amazing.
There's so much you can do once you start to think about how this stuff works. And I've said to a couple of people recently, it's like the first time in history that I can recall where, the saying, if you dream it, you can make it happen, or anything you can dream is possible, or if you dream it, you can make it come true. Like you can now.
We have a phrase that we say in the mastermind every so often, which is AI isn't coming for your job, but it is coming for your excuses.
Oh, I love it.
Because you can do anything.
What are we talking about next week, next episode? I'm super excited.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, I want to keep learning AI parlor tricks. So
well, I think that's the general consensus.
Then how about this? I'm going to come to you with some selfish ones. So I've been communicating with people on the street, friends, people that are listening to podcasts. I'm talking to them. I'm getting feedback. How about I come with what they want to hear?
Yeah, like two
novel idea.
Two or three real world use cases. Let's do that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I love it. All right. Very cool. So listen, folks, if you think this episode made a difference in helping you either prepare for work or life, go ahead and hit the like button. It's for Peter, not for me. He's got this, this issue he's got to deal with. He needs to be liked. I'm kidding. We both love it. But more importantly, that helps us track the numbers and make sure that what we're doing here is actually landing, and so we can continue to deliver what's going to be helpful and beneficial to you. Subscribing's for you, just so you don't miss the next episode. And then for sharing, look, please share, but not until you've actually used one of these tricks. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it's not going to be beneficial to anybody to say, hey, you're listening to this podcast about AI, and then you don't actually know how to use it or haven't used it yourself. Use the objection obliterator for your next sales call. Walk into your next meeting actually prepared. Help one of your kids with their homework using AI, and then share it. Then share it with a coworker. Then share it with another parent in your friend group or your kid's friend group who's struggling with whatever. After you've shared it, or share it after you've done it, you're sharing something proven now. And that's the kind of recommendation I think people actually act on. So thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.